at that agenda, adopt it so that we can open the day for the business. There is a reason why this meeting has been called, and I hope that we'll just follow up to that, the agenda for this meeting and the purpose and objective of this meeting. The agenda is up. The first thing to do is for us to adopt this agenda or make amendments as we deem fit. Anybody that wants to do that, please always state your name, introduce yourself so that we can have that for records. Thank you. The agenda is up. Hello.
Faith, can you scroll the agenda so that we see what is inside?
I'm not the one with it. It's
okay, sorry.
Madam Obi, please scroll it.
Okay,
yes,
I will.
You can do it.
No, it's not. I'm not a co-host.
She's not a co. Are you seeing it?
I can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah.
We are not seeing the screen.
We can see the screen.
I can see the screen.
I can see the screen.
It's okay. It's okay now. It's okay. Faith, please just be mindful that you have some hands up, and you should give priority to the people whose hands are raised when you are.
Okay. Definitely. So do we have comments on this agenda? Do we want to adopt it or just go ahead?
Should have been 3,710,000. Okay, let's go back to that my sheets.
We have Mansour Ilyasu. Mansour Ilyasu, your hand is up. Please go ahead. Any comments on the agenda? Is Mansour there? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Is Mansour there?
Yes.
Please go ahead. Do you have a comment on the agenda?
Yeah, as per the agenda, so we need to respect the time because this is close to 3:20 and it is the right time for the main activity to begin so that we won't waste much time on some irrelevant things.
Okay, thank you. Professor Mina, you have any comment on the agenda?
Just one statement to say that if we're following this strictly, then that would be nice. Otherwise, if there's room for question and answer, otherwise, then I adopt it. So we can start immediately. The earlier we start, the better.
Okay, great. Haruna, please, once you make your comment, put down your hand so that I would be able to identify those on the queue. Haruna, you have something on the agenda. Okay. Are you in agreement with me now?
Yes, please, Madam Faith. Yeah, thank you, Madam Faith. I wanted to suggest in the content of the agenda, maybe immediately after process of Mr. placement, can we have next steps before AOB or AOB or next steps after, so that at least we know the next line of action we intended to do instead of just arriving at AOB. Thank you.
I think that's a good suggestion. Perhaps, please, Native Secretary, take notes. You can put next steps /AOB. So, Haruna, are you adopting the agenda?
Hello, Faith?
Are you now seconding the motion to adopt this agenda? I guess so. Okay, so please, we have the agenda. The opening
okay,
remarks.
Can I second you if there's nobody seconding?
Go ahead, please. Thank you for seconding. I'm bidding us out.
Okudili Odo of Action in Nigeria hereby second the adoption of the agenda for the minutes. Agenda for the
meeting. So thank you very much. We have the representative of the chairman of NATI giving the opening remarks. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Faith Wadishi. My name is Dr. Ilyas Gashimbaki. I represent the Northeast on the board. I'm the president, Chartered Institute of Forensics, and certified fraud investigators of Nigeria. Chartered 2022. The chairman has requested me earlier today to represent him in this very, very important meeting.
Hello, network is so poor. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you, sir.
We can hear you.
All right. So the chairman please, may I request respectfully,
please, can people mute? Please, can you mute your phones, please?
Just put on mute, please.
I can send you already 1,000.
Please put on mute if it is not your turn to talk. Thank you. Secretariat, you can mute so that we have control over the meeting.
I will do it this evening.
Yeah, admin can mute everyone.
I don't want to go to that hospital again.
We are still having
Please mute everybody. Please mute everybody.
How you do now?
Mute your phone. Mute.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. A co-host, so I can mute people too. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Madam Faith. So the chairman has requested me to represent him in this meeting. He is unavoidably absent as we speak. He's in transit. So that's the reason why, as important as this meeting is, unfortunately, he is not with us. Without further waste of time, I'll just read directly the text of his speech. This speech is by the chair, NATI NSWG, Barrister Olusegun Adekunle, at the expanded emergency meeting of the civil society organizations held on Wednesday, 25th January 2023. My dear civil society members, Happy New Year. I bring to you greetings and best wishes from the National Stakeholders Working Group. I would like to thank all of you for your support of the NATI process so far since I was appointed chair of the NSWG. It is in the best interest of all of us and our country that we all continue to work together. Please be assured of the full cooperation and collaboration of the NSWG. My presence at your meeting today is to inform you of the resignation of the civil society representatives on the NATI board, Mr. Peter Obule. Mr. Peter's resignation followed agitations by the civil society, whom he was appointed to represent, that the process of his appointment did not follow the policy guidelines on appointment and nomination of the CSO rep on the NATI board. The NSWG's consideration of the CSO's complaint and the careful review of the process followed to nominate Mr. Obule gave validity to the CSO's sustained agitation, resulting in Mr. Obule's voluntary resignation on 17th of January 2023. However, let me make it clear that this process error did not happen under the present NSWG. None of us, including the Executive Secretary of NATI, were privy to the processes of Mr. Obule's nomination. The NSWG's painstakingly review of the processes identified this error dated back June 2020, when we called for the nomination, when the call for the nomination was sent to Mr. Obule. However, that should be history now. The most important thing is lessons learned and how much to apply those lessons to improve the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I must confess that the NSWG is concerned that Mr. Obile's resignation is coming at a very critical time when Nigeria is currently undergoing the EITI validation. This should also be of concern to all of you because because the validation is about Nigeria and Nigeria. I wish to request that we put all efforts together at this time for the sake of our country and ensure that Nigeria returns its image and ranking in the global EITI. This appeal has become quite necessary because in the past 2 years, NETI has achieved quite a lot for even the blind to see. As you may be aware, any moment from now, NETI will be relocating to its own magnificent permanent office in Abuja, acquired for the agency by this administration. This is the first implementing country to achieve this. And the moment is because of our 5-year strategic plan to expand the implementation beyond limits of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act and our new focus on mining, environment, gender, climate change, energy transition, contract transparency, beneficial ownership, financial modeling, and policy engagement, among other takes center stage. On our industry reports, oil and gas and mining, Nigeria is in good standing. On our 2021 oil and gas reports, solid minerals industry reports, physical allocation and statutory disbursement audits are at various advanced stages of completion. We intend to publish this report by March 2023. We're about to commence the procurement process for the 2023 audit next month. We have also automated our processes through our completion and deployment of the NETI audit management system. For civil society, you have also achieved a lot for which you should be proud of. Have deployed a policy framework for expansion, protection, preservation of the civil space. The Secretariat working with you has also opened up partnerships and collaborations with the National Human Rights Commission to take the process of the protection of the civil space forward. Additionally, policy guidelines on engagement with the CSOs have also been developed. You have also reviewed your MOU with NETI and worked with the Secretariat to review the communication strategy. Other key achievements of the civil society during the last 2 years worth highlighting are as follows. Number one, the constitution of the Civil Society Steering Committee led by the NSWG. Number two, introduction of alternate members of the steering committee to always ensure adequate representation. Number three, regular quarterly meetings of the committee, mandatory before every NSWG. Number four, review and endorsement of all NETI work plans through this period. Number five, resolution of the header issues through robust internal petitions and recourse mechanisms adopted by the CSO. Number six, CSO front lines with the NSWG and the Secretariat to develop NETI Strategic Plan 2022 to 26. Number seven, CSO's ongoing leading roles, stroke engagement with the NNPC on the Glencore bribery standard. Number eight, the ongoing leadership role of the CSO as key stakeholders in completing the EITI validation template and the mobilization of citizens in the ongoing validation of Nigeria. This and more, in addition to the series of training and outreach programs held by our various organizations, many of which NATI was in attendance with adequate technical support. Going forward, I've taken time to highlight some of the key achievements and the progress that we have jointly recorded together. I state clearly that on these and more achievements made within this short period, the NSWG is proud of the Secretariat and your valued contributions. We are also proud of the comprehensive submissions we have presented to the EITI validation team. I urge you therefore to take note of these achievements and work towards sustaining progress that we have made. We should therefore resist any temptation of throwing away the baby with the bathwater because of the recent development. I advise we build on these successes and move forward. Furthermore, the NSWG has taken the following immediate steps. A, I immediately briefed the government through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. B, the government through the SGF has called for nominations from the civil society organizations for the replacement of Mr. Obile for Mr. President's consideration and approval. C, the government has fully committed to the process and will follow the policy guidelines to address your complaints. Accordingly, the ball is now placed squarely in your court. I urge you to manage this process peacefully and quickly as possible in the best interests of our country and the EITI process in Nigeria. I wish you a fruitful deliberation. Thank you all. Distinguished members, therefore, on behalf of the chairman, that's the full text of the speech. I would want to most sincerely wish you a fruitful deliberations. You know, the civil society is one of the tripods that the EITI and the MSG stands on. And therefore, this is the more reason why the NFWG proactively took the steps that we took. And I'm more than confident that this process will be peaceful, will be resourceful, will be meaningful, all for the betterment of Nigeria. Once again, I want to extend the best regards of the chairman and the entire members of the NSWG. And I wish you, therefore, a resourceful and a fruitful deliberation. Thank you, and God bless you all. I'll take my leave. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, if you can just wait like 2 minutes before taking your leave, because there has to be a response to this. Perhaps we'll get 1 or 2 persons. Innocent, your hand is up. Do you want to do a response?
No, not a response. I was just trying to inform the House that the capacity of this Zoom facility is just 100. And a lot of people have not been able to join because of that capacity. I'm wondering how this can progress.
And I want to quickly add my voice to that. It's a big problem when access to this meeting is restricted. It does not truly represent the broad spectrum of civil society actors in the extractive. It's a big problem.
You understand? So, Oga now went and organized talks.
Please, can we just mute our lines?
I'm sorry. Okay, we're doing that.
So, a fundamental issue has been raised about the attendance of people to this meeting. If we have 100, if that the capacity of this meeting is 100, is there any way to expand it? What do we say about that?
It's been live streamed, really. We have a challenge. You know, this is normally the platform we use for our meetings since COVID. So we didn't envisage we were going to have even up to 100, but thank God that a lot of civil society actors logged into this meeting. So what they're doing now is to live stream it. I'll get the link to the YouTube channel. So if they go to the YouTube channel, they'll be able to. Yes, I've asked them to do that already. So in the coming minutes, I will send out that link.
Yeah, Madam Faith, in absence of any response.
Please, please just raise, if you want to say something, raise up your hand and you'll be recognized so that we can finish on time.
Yeah, please, Madam Faith, my hands have been up. Chima Williams.
Okay, Chima Williams, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you, the representative.
Hold on, Chima, please. Innocent, please, can you put your hand down? Go ahead, Chima. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, the representative of the chair of the ITI, for that elucidating welcome remarks. I think, yes, for me, the key thing is that we have two issues. First is the validation process, and I agree with you that we cannot throw away the baby with the bathwater. We should consider that of major interest to all of us is the fate of Nigeria. And then we must work in tandem to see that Nigerians' interest is collectively protected. And that is, for me, cardinal. But on the other hand, the call that Peter Ebule's resignation is voluntary, I disagree with that, sir. It cannot be voluntary when the entire civil society spectrum, including the NAITI, has agreed that his appointment was flawed. He didn't follow due process. So he can't resign voluntarily from a position that he shouldn't have occupied in the first place. So let us call a spade so that others will not join in the same category of making the same mistakes and think that it will be swept under the carpet. So there should be a resolution from this meeting that, yes, even though we agree that nature abhors vacuum, that we cannot take back the hands of the clock on the things that have been done with NAITI because we want to make progress, but we must call a spade to say that Peter's representation of the civil society, he didn't have the mandate to do that. And it was flawed, so that correction will be made and it will not be repeated in the future. I just felt that I should flag this while the chair is still here before he leaves. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Barrister Chima. I see, is that Professor Mohammed? Professor Mohammed?
Yes, I said, I think my response has been taken care by William, but I just want to add that what happened was that after a meeting in Kano to streamline the process, how the nomination will come, I think the history has forgotten. We have forgotten the history why we come to that level. But somewhere along the line, by error of commission or omission, somebody take that opportunity to do what has been done. But thank God that is corrected, and now we can go forward by doing the right thing at the right time, because the EITI validation is still on the table that is coming. So we should tidy up our house before the validation will come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. So I still see two hands. Are you responding to the chairman's speech? Is it different from what the two submissions we already have on the ground? If it's not different, please let's put our hands down so that we can progress on the agenda, and let's wait for a response from the chairman's representative. But otherwise, Celestine and Tija, I have your hands up. Please, let's have 1 minute for your response, if it is different from what has already been put on the ground. Celestine. Okay, thank you. Tija.
Yeah, I think Obi has responded to the issue. I'm not
Tija.
talking about.
Okay, thank you very much. So can we have a response from the chairman's representative, and we'll go on to the second agenda on the item on the agenda?
Okay, thank you, Faith, and then I appreciate all the comments. But if you listen to that speech very well, the text should be shared. You see clearly the NSWG have admitted that the process was flawed. And what actually happened was we took all the steps that were necessary, and it is in that process that he sent in his voluntary resignation. So that is documented in the speeches. So I think the NSWG is not saying that the process was not flawed. It is contained in the chairman's speech. But it's also on record that after writing to the Secretary to Government of the Federation about the breach of procedure, which was contingent on the meeting the NSWG had on this matter, Musa Obele did not wait for the full process to run, and he decided to resign. So that's the position. So on that note, I want to thank everyone for making time to be available for this meeting, and I wish you a fruitful deliberation. May I then therefore respectfully take a bow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Also, please send our regards to the chairman of the board. Okay, so I've asked Madam Obi, please, can you put up the agenda so that we can take the third item on the agenda, please? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sharing it.
Okay, please, thank you.
Please, before you go on, I'm also sharing the YouTube streaming link, so we can share with our partners or our colleagues who are trying to log in and could not. That's the link on. It's also on the chat platform. This is the.
No, you're still sharing.
Are you seeing the agenda now?
No, you're still sharing the link. You have not shared the agenda.
Can you see it now?
Okay, yes, perfect.
Okay.
Please, can I also request that we have somebody at the Secretariat take up questions, if there are any questions or concerns from the YouTube link, so that we can address them all at once.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the second agenda is the review of civil society engagement in the extractive civic space 2021-2022 during Mr. Peter Gbule's tenure as rep. The floor is open. I guess this is, can I suggest that we have members of the Civil Society Steering Committee, 1 or 2 persons, start with this, and then every other person on the floor can interrogate this action, because it's a general review of the period that Peter Gbule was there. Even though we agree with Barrister Chima had already said something on the floor, but we cannot also wish away that period that Peter Gbule was there as the civil society representative on the board. So I guess this agenda is to review that period, and I would love to hear from the members of the Civil Society Steering Committee, 2 of them, and then others can jump in on that to do. Please, if you want to speak, put up your hand as usual. Professor Mohammed, sir.
Yes, I think I am a member of the steering committee, and during the tenure of Mr. Peter, it was unfortunate that time there COVID, and there wasn't much meetings to discuss the review. I think the last thing we did was the validations of the review and the strategy, the meeting that was held in Kano. And we outlined what we are supposed to do within that period. And subsequently, there wasn't any meeting to discuss and to see what we have achieved.
No, Prof, I think you are getting it wrong. Peter Bule was appointed last year. I guess you're reviewing Kola Banwo's tenure. We are not reviewing Kola Banwo's tenure.
No, we are not. I said after Kola.
Okay,
then
okay.
When Peters came,
Yes.
there is only one meeting to review the activities, because we are supposed to review the activities from what we received from Kola tenure.
Okay.
And that meeting could not hold.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm saying, because Kazim is at the secretariat, he can tell us what we did after the steering committee has already mapped out its plan. During Peter, what have we achieved? Then that would make a quick progress rather than to review all the activities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Kazim's hand is up. Please, Kazim, go ahead. Kazim, your hand is up. Go ahead, please. Hello? Can you hear me? Is there any other person? Kazim's hand is up and he's not speaking. Is there any other person that wants to speak to this second item on the agenda?
What about Chris? Chris is supposed to be there now.
No, but Prof, I thought that this is an opportunity for civil society to review the period that Peter was there. If we're asking the secretariat to do that review, I think that would be out of place.
I'm not saying the secretariat to do the review.
Okay.
To give us what has been documented. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we should do the review.
Okay. Kazim, are you going ahead? Kingsley, your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Fields, and also the representative of the chairman that just spoke. 2021 to 2022 is a period of 2 years. Was there any report? Was there any feedback to civil society that we could be talking about the review? If there wasn't any, it then means that NITI will be able to tell us exactly what transpired within that period. Except if maybe there was a report that was sent to any civil society, which we are not privy of.
That's why I'm asking for the members of the Civil Society Steering Committee. I'm aware that on the membership of the Civil Society Committee, you have different organizations. Who is asking?
Hello?
Hello, please.
Let me send it.
Are we still maybe she has information?
Where is where do I send it now?
Hold on, just hello.
Hello?
Okay, just hold on, please. Kingsley raised an issue about if there's a report. And that was why I asked the Civil Society Steering Committee members to kickstart at least two members from the Civil Society Steering Committee to give us a report. Now you have representatives of different organizations on the Civil Society Steering Committee. If at this point,
maybe she. Hello?
Who? Yes, please.
Hello, Madam Faith.
Yes, please.
Are you hearing me?
Okay, go ahead, Kazim.
Yes, I just want to guide. The activities of the Civil Society Steering Committee under Mr. Peter Bule has been summarized and highlighted in the speech by the chairman.
Yes, okay.
Those things listed were summaries of activities and achievement, sort of, that were recorded under Mr. Peter Ebule chairmanship. So this is what we expect the larger society to review. So maybe we should go back to that speech and quickly, highlight, those things that the chairman, noted during his speech.
Okay, thank you very much, Kazim. But I think that the best way would have done that would have been to have a report separate. The chairman is not the one giving the report of the civil society representative on the board. And that's why I keep saying, now that it has been listed, we have pointed our attention to the fact that it was on the chairman's speech. Can we have the civil society steering committee?
We do have a report.
Members.
Let me talk to the HOD to highlight it.
Okay, please highlight it.
These highlights were actually taken from the report that we did. So okay. We'll do that now. Let me draw attention.
Okay, thank you. Kola, you have your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to find out whether the word review is the word we intend to use for this activity. That activities have been done, we have a report. Review, is that the word? I want to be sure that what we want to do is a review. Or having had the summary, if you've not had the privilege of the details, just proceed to see if it's something we agree as having been done, and then move on. Because a review means you are checking, was it done, how well was it done, and all. I'm not sure we have to
validate, right?
And the kind of information we have to be able to do a review in this forum. So I wanted to be sure, is it review we want to look, or we want to start hearing the summary, things have been done, validation is on, we want to move on and say, well, whatever has been done, reported, we consider it legitimate and have been done and adopt so that it can become something documented for validation purposes and for record documentary purposes. But a review, I'm not sure is the word we're looking for. I just thinking line. Thank you.
Okay, Kola, please, can you now raise a motion so that we can put it to vote and then we can move ahead? Because what you have said is very valid. Can you now raise a motion to say these activities that have been done?
Faith, hold on. What's the purpose of this meeting? Is it to estray the process?
Sorry, who is speaking? Who is speaking?
Yeah,
hold on,
Celestine.
Faith. Celestine, hold on. Your hand is not up, please, so that we can be guided at this meeting. People's hands are up. If you want to say something, just hold on, please. I'm trying to, Kola has raised a point on the agenda. This agenda, we looked at it and people adopted it. So if we have adopted it, we have come to the second point of the agenda. If somebody is raising an issue around that, let us clarify it before we move on to the agenda so that we don't just jump into the conversation. Kola has raised a very valid point about the wording of that particular agenda. Is it a review that we want to carry out, or we want to look at the activities as outlined and adopt it and then move on to the next agenda? Kola, you are still on the floor.
Yes, are we reviewing, or we want to take the reports in summary as has been done as a sector and look at it? Many of them are routine, if you know the process. Work plan adoption, strategic plan. If you have been in the system, you know there are things that civil society does as part of the stakeholder working group. So for me, the review is not what I think we want to do. I think what we're thinking of doing is let's have this report, summary of the thing that has been done, and then move on to say it has been done, they ought to have been done, and they have been done. Therefore, there's no need going back and forth. It's been done, it's been done. It's part of the emotion. Or we are going to say, no. We said that we will say, no, we are not satisfied, we want to do whichever way. But in terms of review, I just don't think that is the thing we want to do. So are we receiving the report to consider it and then think through if it's something we want to go on with? Or we are saying that since it was done by someone who should not have been there, blah, 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 blah. No, they are not done. And then we decide what to do with that other response as a sector. Thank you.
Okay, Elizabeth. Are you there, Elizabeth?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm here.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm of the opinion that the person that is resigning
should have submitted a report to what he has or what happened during his tenure or during the short period or long period that is there within that period. It is that report now, we can now look at the report and see if really they are true, there were achievements or nothing that was done. But I didn't see it in the chairman's representative speech. But if it's there, then let it be extracted and let's have it. But I think the normal thing should be, whether you are resigning voluntarily or you are thrown out of a place, you should have a report covering the period you were there. Thank you.
Okay, so you're suggesting that we should demand for a report?
Sure. That's what I'm saying. We should demand for a report from him.
That's in addition to what Kola has suggested earlier, to say these activities that were done, can we look at them and say, okay, these activities were done, and then adopt those activities, ask for further clarification on those activities, or we actually say we reject those activities, because those are the two things that Kola put on the table. Actually say we reject those activities, and then we now go forward to say, even if we go for one, we still need a report. Even if we go for the second one, we still need a report in addition to what you have said.
Yes.
Kelechi, thank you, ma'am. Okay, Zay.
Madam Faith, sorry, I'm not raising I've raised my hand. My hand has been up for a long time now. I just want to say that I just want to say that the chairman's speech captured the things that the civil society did, engagement during Mr. Peter Ebule's tenure. So it's comprehensive, it's there, that's what you have now on the screen, a background to what you've done, and then bullet points of the details of these achievements. So if you want to look at it, that's what you have on the screen right now.
Okay. Okay, so there was Kola made 2 suggestions on the floor, and I wanted us to take that and agree that this is the direction to go.
My hands have been up.
Hello, please. Can I give guidance? Hold on, please. Can I give guidance? Let me finish. So we're still on what Kola suggested. It is for us to agree that these activities were carried out. We go on and say, okay, these activities were carried out, even though these lapses were there, or we actually say these activities were not carried out, so that we can now go to step 2. Step 2 is where Elizabeth now suggested that we should have a report. From the chairman's speech, those activities outlined by the chairman says that these were what civil society did. And that was what I was waiting for, at least a member or 2 of the Civil Society Steering Committee who was part of that to say, we did these activities or we did not do these activities. And nobody is speaking up.
Hello, Faith.
Yes, Prof.
Yes, I am a member of the steering committee. I'm telling you that what I'm trying to say is that the process of even taking the report to the board is that the civil society will meet and agree these are the things that we have done.
Yes.
That meeting has not held. That's what I'm saying. So what he presented is not what the civil society sit down and look at it and say, yes, this is what we have done, this is what we are putting on to the board. It is not. But maybe because of time, please, Taiwo, can you mute your mic? Yes, what I'm saying is that the process, you were there, Kola was there. For any time you are taking a civil society report to the board, the civil society must meet and agree on that report.
Yes.
Yes, they have to meet and agree on that report to the board. That has not been done. And
okay,
now,
thank you very much, sir.
Yes, and now you are saying that let's review that. So how can a civil society review something that they were not part of it? In fact, that's the problem that created even to the people to write petitions, that the process of the nomination is not well done along that line. So that's the issue I'm trying to raise. If let's correct the process first. Let the civil society own the report first, if they are satisfied with that report. So I agree with what Kola said, that review or not review. It's not review at all, because if it is review, is what we agree on, then we'll come and review it and see what we'll put forward. That's my submission, please.
Okay, Prof. Thank you very much.
Madam Faith,
Okay.
Madam Faith, sorry.
Madam Obi, just hold on. Just hold on a bit. Just hold on a bit. We'll come back to you. Let's have two more persons add their voices to this, and then we'll get back to the secretariat. Kelechi, I had called you earlier. Please go ahead. You have the floor.
Faith, my hand has also been up since as well.
Yes, I'm recording them. I know when your hand came up. I'll call you, sir.
Okay.
Kelechi, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Faith. What I wanted to say about Dr. Boss, I think what Kola said is apt, and I stand by that. We are not taking any risk, but rather we are considering what we are doing is to consider the chairman's report, and then who is somebody's. Oh my God. So I'm of the opinion that we go by what Kola said. We're not having. We have listened to the chairman's report. We need to go forward to the next item. And discussing and having conversation around that issue, which borders on nomenclature, I think what the people that were scripting the agenda had in mind is not for us to review entirely what we don't know, but perhaps to have the conversation on the issues that were raised by the chairman within the tenor when we had a representative as a chairman at the NIT board. And the chairman has said it here. We have listened to it. The civil society that are represented here can take a stand. We have listened to that report and we will follow it up. Like Barrister Chima stated, there were some issues that were raised by the chairman. These are the things we need to take further so that these mistakes do not going forward. I think that's where we should go, and then go to the next item on the agenda.
Okay, so let me get you correctly, Kelechi. What you are saying is that we should leave the review item on the agenda and not discuss it. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. The word review is not what we are doing. It's not. We can't.
Okay, suggest now. That's what I'm saying. People should suggest. What do we do? Do we leave it or we go ahead?
Yes, my suggestion is that we are not doing any review. We have listened to the chairman's report and we have responded to the chairman's report. Let's go to the next
agenda. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please put down your hand. Please put down your hand. Celestine.
Madam Faith, Madam Faith, my hand been up.
No, as soon as you put on your hand, the thing is coming step by step. I'm seeing all of them here.
Okay, first, thank you. Thank you.
Please, 1 minute. 1 minute, please.
Yeah, the prof has already highlighted part of what I wanted to say, because the representative that resigned, I don't think it was dismissed, or there was a process of resignation of which there should be a report. But Obie has pointed out that the report is stated in what the chairman presented. So, but the question I'm having now is, what is the purpose of this? Are we extraying his work, the work he did, or the process leading to his that brought him in? I need us to have a clarity on the channel we are going. That is just my own concern.
Okay, we will get the secretary to answer to that. Taiwo, please go ahead. So let's see, please put down your hand.
Hello.
Taiwo,
Thank
go
you
ahead.
so much. Yeah, thank you. I think this is a civil society, right? What does not
Oh, you are sitting close to an electronic device. If you can move away from there, that interference will stop.
Okay. Can you hear me now? I said, what does exist? There is no report now. So there is no report to discuss. Even when you call members of society steering, none of them could say any statements. So we can't discuss nothing. So please, let's move agenda. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move to the next slide. Suraj.
Please, I have my hands up.
See, you know, let me explain something. The way Zoom works, as soon as you put up your hand, it puts you on a queue. Suraj is the next person on the queue. After Suraj is, let me say it now. Hold on. After Suraj is Chima. After Chima is Innocent. This we have given you your time before. The next person is Monday. Then Haruna will round up, please. Suraj, go ahead.
Thank you, Faith. I think we will just also take cognizance because I can see. Can other people just put themselves on mute so that we can hear ourselves?
Please go ahead. I'm muting everybody.
Yeah, thank you. I think we can just take cognizance of the key purpose of having the meeting. And I'm happy that we are gradually coming to that. Let's be focused and then deal with the substantive issue. You don't have any report from the civil society. The chairman's speech was just a welcome speech. To the best of my understanding, how can we be explaining the activities of the civil society rep from the statement of the chairman? That was not the statement for us to actually subject to review. And I think the most important thing is, what do we call this meeting for? Now is a review. How can you review what has been done and say it was not done? I mean, that would be a meeting that we would call for the purpose of that particular activity. So now the most important thing is, how do you want to find a replacement to Mr. Egbule's resignation? After that, either Mr. Egbule or some of the steering committee members of the civil society would have to come bring to us the reports that we would then review. We can't undo what is being done. Then we will take some of positions on some of those outcome of those meetings, and then also make a position across to NAITI if we want to agree on the process that led to those previous activities, or we want to ensure that the things that have happened will not repeat itself. So if we just start going on this unnecessary ones, we won't have any meeting. This is more than 1 hour down the line.
Thank you very much, Suraj. Thank you very much, Suraj.
Madam Faith, sorry.
Just hold on, please. 1 minute.
I just want to put something straight so that it will guide probably what the next reaction will be.
Yes.
What we have, we actually did a report of the activities that had been done, but because this is a meeting that we've been told and we knew that our role here is just to convene the meeting and allow the civil society actors to run this meeting and have their outcome. So we felt that the chairman should read the speech and then highlight the activities that have been carried out with the civil society by NAITI, which includes the MSG. Don't forget, he's the chairman of the MSG, and the Society Steering Committee is a creation of the board. So what we did was to hand over to him the report of what we have done and say, present this to the civil society, which is what he has done. So whatever report that Mr. Peter would have presented, or whatever report that the civil society would have been presented, is what the chairman has read out, because he's the chairman of the MSG, and the Civil Society Steering Committee is a creation of the board. I just wanted to make this clear to guide us, and then we can decide on how we want to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you for the information. So we will just take one minute. We will just take one minute.
Apologies. Suraj,
okay, thank you very much.
Please, apologies,
please,
just
please,
quickly.
Suraj, we're working on your
the
point,
floor.
please. Chima has the floor now. 1 minute, please. I beg you. 1 minute. See, let us agree. Suraj has said something on the floor. Let us debate on that so that we don't waste time. The people, we have only 2 hours for this.
I think we need to be guided, Madam Faith. I think we need to be guided. Okay. The point
Barrister
that
Chima, can I finish what I'm saying first? Just hold on. Caller raised an issue, and I said let people make a comment, make comments about that. And Suraj are just giving us guidance around that. Kelechi also suggested that we should either leave the agenda that talked about review and go on to the next agenda. But Suraj gave us a clear direction on what to do. The highlighted items of what the Civil Society Steering Committee or the Civil Society representative on the board had done within this last period is there. Can we wish those things away? We cannot wish them away. So what is the suggestion going forward? Do we leave out that item of review and go on to the next agenda item? I need solutions, please, to the point. Please, I beg you.
Thank you very much.
Other people can also contribute to this conversation.
You are taking too much time, Chair.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the simple thing here is this. What was presented by the chairman, I presume, is a secretariat report, not civil society report, and it cannot pass for civil society reports. Okay, we know rules of engagement. So if we are taking it as a secretariat report, we adopt it and move to the next item. Then at a later time, we can do the review because we can't even review what we don't have. This report is just being presented now. How many of us have had the opportunity of reading them so that we now begin to consider reviewing them? But we have a task at hand. For me, 2 key tasks. Task number 1 is the validation, which affects every Nigerian, not just the civil society, not just, Naiti, but every Nigerian. So we must put that at the forefront. And then the second thing is that now we are trying to correct the mistake that was made. And as I started earlier, leadership, there is no vacuum. So whatever had been done under Peter's tenure does not preclude of scrutinizing, but as it is now, we have to agree that those things had been done. It equally aligns with our governance structure. When governors are impeached or removed from office, whatever they had done are not usually quashed. But it doesn't mean that they occupied those positions legitimately before the law. So what is the task before us? We can come back to issue of Peter because he is not representing Publish What You Pay alone. He claimed to represent this entire civil society. And for those of us that are not part of Publish What You Pay, we have our say. And it is on that note that some of us are speaking that are not part of Publish What You Pay. So it is not a family thing for Publish What You Pay. It is a general civil society issue. So let's leave that for the now and concentrate on the key things that are affecting us so that we don't miss the track.
Okay,
That's
thank
the
you very
direction
much,
and guide that I
Chima.
wanted to give us.
Thank you. Is there anyone that is in support or against this motion that is on the floor now so that we can move on? Innocent, your hand is up.
Yes, I just wanted to explain, which Chima has already explained. The objective of, from the way I see the objective of putting that item, it's not really review, is to agree whether those things, those processes, those things that Peter did while he was in office, whether they remain valid or invalid. I think that is the substance. But to do that, we need a detailed report. And the professor has told us that they have not met to agree on the report. So the best thing to do is to skip that now and move to the next item. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Mondo Sasa, contrary view.
It's not a contrary view, but just to say that the view that has been expressed, welcome. And I just want to align with what Raj has said, that there's no way we can take the welcome speech that civil society reports. So my suggestion, therefore, is to quickly move away from that particular item and go to the next agenda so that we can really save time, because discussing it is, for me, it doesn't make sense for us to assume that either the secretariat or the chairman's speech is the civil society support, except that what we can do is, if any member of the civil society steering committee, can give us a formal report. Maybe Peter must have given them some report that we are not aware of. If they can give them that report and they make presentation to us, then we can then say, yes, we are talking. But as it is now, none of that is in sight. So my suggestion, therefore, is that we should leave this completely and go to the next item on how to chart a new course for our representation in native. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All of the speakers that spoke now are on the same page, and I'm asking for the agenda to be put up back so that we can look at that agenda. But remember that the Civil Society Steering Committee has I think there are 15 members on that Civil Society Steering Committee. I expect that every representative on that Civil Society Steering Committee should be able to give report back to their different constituencies. Madam Obi, we're waiting for the agenda to be uploaded, please.
I'll do that now.
So can you just read it out to us while you are doing that?
I can assist to read if there is a delay.
Please go ahead.
It's the
Okay,
agenda.
thank
The
you.
next, have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
A process of Mr. Bullets replacement on the
The next co-chair take over.
Hello?
The network is lost.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So we have
hear
the
you.
next agenda, the process of Mr. Ebule's replacement on the NSWG. Please, can we have the policy that was adopted during Mr. Collar's tenure on the board?
Please, Mr. Faith, can you use all others? I think no longer.
Yes. Okay, okay. I didn't know that I muted the line. Sorry. Can the secretariat give us the agreed process of replacement, please?
All right, I'm uploading it now. Can you see it?
Yes, I
Can
can.
you see it? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
But you need to scroll. You need to scroll it up. I don't think we will have time to go through the entire document because of the space.
It should have been better to read it out because this document is not much.
Okay, okay, I will. I'll run through it. Okay. Policy guideline on appointment nomination of civil society representative on the NATI board, that is the National Stakeholders Working Group, NSWG. Introduction. Where is my okay. Introduction. The Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, EITI, which NATI is implementing in Nigeria, is built on a multi-stakeholders framework. The multi-stakeholders are composed of civil society, companies, and government. The EITI process recognizes that effective civil society engagements are major conditions for successful implementation of the NATI EITI mandates, principles, and standards in the extractive sector. The roles of the civil society are therefore carefully outlined in the NATI Act 2007 and the EITI standards. These roles also form part of the NATI strategic plan, NATI comprehensive communication strategy, and also guides the NATI Civil Society Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, developed by the CSOs and approved by the NATI National Stakeholders Working Group, NSWG. The EITI standards, NATI Act, and the MOU underline and support the independence of civil society organizations in the NATI process. This includes the space and freedom to choose who represents them as the multi-stakeholders group, known in NATI as the National Stakeholders Working Group. To ensure that freedom to choose who represents them, the CSOs therefore resolved to put a policy in place to guide the process. This includes the nominations and appointments of representatives of the civil society organizations on the NATI National Stakeholders Working Group. This policy document therefore provides as follows. 1, that the civil society in Nigeria acknowledges that Section 6 of the NATI Act 2007, this is an error, sorry, provides for the power of the President of Nigeria to appoint all the members of the NATI board, that's the NSWG, including the representative of civil society on same NSWG, that this power remains and can only be altered when and if the NATI Act is amended and efforts towards that process are already in progress, that this provision does not violate the self-select process of nominating a representative by civil society, as in making the appointment, the president has historically requested for the nominee from the civil society. To strengthen the self-select process for this nomination, the president should be guided by the following. A, send a notice to civil society through the NATI Secretariat to nominate their representative when the NSWG is being constituted. B, that the NATI Secretariat should communicate same to all civil society organizations and coalitions involved in the EITI NATI process within their database. That in response to the request, that in response to the request, the civil society should initiate an open, transparent, and competitive process as agreed by them to select and present one candidate for the president to appoint as a civil society representative on the NSWG. D, that documentary evidence attesting to the openness, inclusiveness, and independence of the process for the selection should be compiled and sent alongside the letter communicating the name of the nominee directly to the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. E, that the name of the elected person by the civil society organizations be forwarded to the president through the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. And F, that this policy seeks to strengthen the independence of civil society groups engaging with the NATI process, promotes and guarantees participation through consultation in line with the EITI standard, NATI process, and civil society protocol. Signed by Kola Wale Bangwo, the chair of the Civil Society Steering Committee at the time, and Alhaji Issa Duse, acting chair, NSWG committee. So that's all, that's all.
Thank you very much. So having listened to this, can we move a motion to kickstart the process for the replacement of Peter Ebule as the item on the agenda. Caller, your hand is up. Sorry, Christian Okorori. Hello.
No, sorry, my hand was up before now. It's not on this issue, so let me take it down.
Okay, thank you. Christian Okorori, on this issue, are you going to move a motion for us to start the process of the replacement of Mr. Peter Ebule? Christian is not there. Obi, Madam Obi, do you have something to say? Your hand is up.
Oh, no, sorry,
Hello.
my hand, no, not now, sorry. My hand,
Okay.
let me take it down, sorry.
Hello.
Mohammed Sani.
Yes, hello, good afternoon. So I want to move the motion for us to start the process for the replacement.
Okay, so a motion has been moved. Who is seconding that?
I, Noli Akpede from the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, support the motion as raised.
Okay, thank you very much. So the process is open. I would like Barrister Chima. Is Barrister Chima still on this call? Okay. Mr. Kola? Kola, is Kola there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, Kola, please, we both have to midwife this process. Please, you can't say no to this one, I beg you. Let us midwife this process and see it through. Perhaps we'll begin to now call for nomination and then do that process. We come at the end of the day, we agree on who we are going to recommend to the president for nomination.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
do
Madam
this as quickly as possible.
Sorry,
yeah,
before
thank
we
you,
go
Madam
on,
Faith. Yeah, okay.
To confirm
If you want to say
from,
something, raise up your hand, though. The only person that has come on is Kola. Kola, please go ahead.
I just want to find out, before we go deep into the process from the Secretariat, is there a process for voting on this platform as set up?
No, but let me find out from the IT if it can be done immediately.
Okay,
but we
if we have
can
more
do
than-
raising of hands.
No, we can nominate. Let's nominate the people first, and then let the Secretariat set up the voting process. We can't start voting until we know who we are nominating.
Okay, so we have the nominees and then a different format for voting that can also be done. Survey Monkey or can now be set up with a timeline and a date by which people must vote, and then we can move on with that. I'm saying this because we talked about documentary evidence of the process. So we need something we can document, screen grab, and show that this voting took place and this is the outcome and this is how this person emerged, to avoid controversy, because some people are not on this platform. People are on YouTube, are they able to participate? We just need to be sure so that we don't have red flags going on. Thank you.
Please, I needed clarification. I raised my hand if I'm permitted.
Hold on. Let me take it one after the other, the way I have them here. Christian Okorori, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm here, but I've not been allowed to speak. I've
called you before. You didn't speak. Now go ahead and speak, please.
Please, if this process is on already to nominate candidates for replacement of Peter Ebule, what are the criteria? What are the criteria? Who are we nominating from where and where? We are not clear. It's not, the process is not clear to us. The process is not clear, to be honest. Thank you.
Please, the Secretariat, can you read the policy again for us?
Okay.
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 The part that talks about who can, yes.
Okay, so it says, this provision does not violate the self-select process of nominating a representative by civil society. As in making the appointment, the president has historically requested for the nomination from civil society. And so the president should be guided by the following. A, send a notice to civil society through the native secretariat, which we have done. B, that the next secretary should communicate same to all civil society organizations and coalitions involved in the EITI native process within their database, which we have done. C, which is where we are now, that in response to the request, the civil society should initiate an open, transparent, and competitive process as required by them to select and present one candidate for the president to appoint as a civil society representative on NSWG.
Thank you very much. So, Christian, the policy did not specifically state the criteria. The only criteria there is that the civil society must be involved in the EITI process, except we want to use this meeting now to begin to set up criteria.
Well, Madam Faith. Madam Faith. Madam Faith.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Christian.
Madam Faith, I'm not trying to preempt anybody here, but the thing is that since you have notified the civil society that they should go and do their homework, is it now today that we are going to do this homework? Are we not to be given time for us to go and discuss? We are just being bamboozled. We are being pushed to do what we are supposed to do, not now. I know that.
So what are you suggesting? You don't want us to go through this process? Give your suggestion so that
we are going through the process. Look at the process, the policy that she has just, Madam Obi just read out to us, that they should be notified. We have been notified. What is our response to that notice? Is it today that we are going to respond by, nominating people to be elected? I'm not particular about any person here. I'm not particular about any coalition. What I'm trying to say, let's go to the right.
Okay, Okori, your point is
my hand is up.
Kelechi, please, the next person.
Can I speak?
Please, we're doing this one after the other, please. One after the other. Kelechi is the next person on the line.
Thank you very much. Please, I heard that there are 15 persons represented on the CSO board. This CSO board is a subset of the NSWG. Am I right? I needed clarification. It's different. So if the National Steering Working Group is different from the CSO board, and I learned that there are 15 persons representative on the CSO board already. That means that whosoever we are nominating, we should be mindful of diversity in the CSO network. So that it's not one CSO group dominating. That's the area I needed this clarification. Since there are 15 persons already on the CSO board, and of course the secretariat knows the CSOs they are partnering with, they are working with. How can they help us so that we come out with a diversity of representation that captures the whole gamut of the CSOs that are members of the 90? That's areas I'm.
Thank you. So if you're on this call, it means that you are on NATI's, if you're on this call, it means that you are on NATI's database, and that's why you are invited to this place. Emeka Ogazi, you are next, please. Emeka Ogazi. Barrister Chima Williams.
My hand is up. Oh.
Barrister Chima Williams.
Thank you very much, Madam.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we are at a crucial point now, and because notice had been given for this exercise of today, and if I read some of the responses correctly, nobody objected to the agenda that was presented already. So it is a given that one of the business of today is to get a representative of the civil society and getting it right. And even if we postpone this exercise to next 100 years, it will still be those that are on native database that will be invited. So I think in terms of qualification to contest or to be elected is that you are on the database and you've been working on the native process, on the process with native. So that for me is a given. So I think we should now call the House to order. Two things. We talked, one of us raised the issue of how voting will be done. I think that's Scholar. There are two ways for documentation purposes. Since this meeting is being recorded, okay, we can ask people to type into the chat whom they voted. I mean, it should be an open voting. And of course, the process of voting has to be discussed first before we now talk about contestants, so that the rule is not made for anybody. It is a blanket rule that has been made before we even know those that are interested in occupying the space and seeking to be elected. So it is either we use the monkey survey that Scholar mentioned, or we use typing in the chat. Whether you are on this Zoom platform or you are on any other platform, you can type in the secretariat, we collect it, and then we'll have the record of it. And since it is open, and since it is open, going to be open, if you voted, and by the time we see the records and your name is not on, those that voted list, or your vote goes to another person, you can raise an objection. So that will make this process clear, transparent, and accountable.
Thank you very much. So we have two suggestions on the floor on the voting process. Are we going to wait for the secretariat to send in a survey monkey that we will use and then collect later? Because since other people are on other platforms, we cannot use only members on this platform, on the Zoom platform alone to decide. So we need a platform that is accessible to everybody, whether on this platform or that other platform. But we need to also set a timeline for this voting. Taiwo, you are next on the line.
My hand is up.
Chris, after Taiwo is you. All of you have been queued up. Taiwo, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So we are talking on
Thank
the
you
voting,
so much.
on the voting process.
I want to make some observation. Number one, policy. Yes, I'm speaking. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes.
I know. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
We can hear you, Taiwo. Go
ahead. Policy is different from criteria for voting. Yes, so policy is different from criteria for voting. So, and also starting the process does not mean we are conducting an election today. You cannot conduct election today. My thought is we have a committee of 3 persons to give us criteria. We give them timeline to give us criteria. Conducting election today would mean going through the pigeonhole arrangement. And the NIT cannot host the election platform for CSO. Those committee of 3 should go and set up either a monkey or whatever mechanism they want to use for the election. And, hello, I'm still on. And
go ahead, please. Round up.
And I have not seen the call for nomination. If other people have seen it, I have not seen it. I've not seen it. So it should be made very clear. So what to do is set up maybe 3 persons committee, give us criteria, because criteria for voting is different from policy. What you read out is not criteria for voting. And also, many people have been denied access to this meeting. So their inclusivity is seriously endangered. So my suggestion is that we have a committee of three. We give them timeline, they set up the criteria and call for nomination so that we don't follow, we accuse politicians and want to follow the same road. Thank you. So I object to any election process today. Thank you.
Okay, Taiwo, if you look at the agenda that we have today, the agenda actually talked about the replacement of Peter Ebule, and we also called for people to adopt that agenda, and that agenda was adopted before the beginning of this meeting. Let us also have that in mind. If you are suggesting that we have a 3-person committee, that is a suggestion on the floor that can be carried. Chris, you are next on the line, please. Chris Azor.
Yeah, hello, thank you, Sister Faith. I hope you can hear me.
Can hear you.
Yes, I want to humbly align myself with what Comrade Taiwo said, in terms of for us not to be in so much hurry. And what I saw on that agenda is actually a process. He didn't quite say, although unless I didn't understand it, he didn't quite say we must take a vote today. He said we start a process. And having said that, I want to observe that this invite was sent as a wild card. I am not sure that all that we have were members or partners, stakeholders in native process. Because I observed that in some other platforms, the invite was posted there, asking people to key in. That is even the reason you have so many people, I stand to be corrected, that actually, logged in without even having the actual partners on this meeting, at this meeting. So what I'm saying is that there should be a more properly guided process to this. My people have a saying that if you use something that beautifies a person, there's a way they use razor blade and all that sharp objects. If you open the eye that very day, there's an impediment. So I think that we have done well through this process, but there should be, if you ask me, the process of electing a new representative of civil society, it should have been done more properly. If you ask me, it should have been done, at a physical meeting and all that. Concentration should be made, and we have to think it through. The meeting we're having today, if you ask me, is not very properly constituted because they sent wild card. Organizations that have a mixture of civil society, they posted the invite and asked everybody to key in. So I think that we have a record of stakeholders within the native process, and they should be involved. That inclusivity is important. So if you do this thing today, we may run the risk of coming to repeat the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Innocent.
Yes, my own observation is that the agenda did not say that the process must be concluded today.
Yeah.
It just said the process of replacement. So the implication of that is that we can commence the process today, perhaps give some time, because others have also mentioned the issue of inclusivity. And I know that a lot of persons are not able to join. I don't even know whether they were able to join through the other link. So let's start the process today, perhaps allow nomination for some days, maybe the way Taiwo have suggested, perhaps set up a committee, then allow nomination for some days, perhaps through a survey monkey, but whoever is nominating somebody must be properly identified, or the identity must be known. Then after the nomination process, allow another few days for voting. Then collation and the result, then we'll now meet again to discuss all of that. I think that's how we should go, rather than trying to conclude today.
Okay, Tolu Tokpe.
Okay, thank you very much, Faith, and thank you to the ET for organizing this event. I just have a few points, and might not be different from what has been said so far. I like the fact that Mr. Taiwo mentioned that a 3-man committee should be set. I buy the idea. But another thing also we need to consider is the nomination process might not have to happen today. So on the Open Alliance platform that I belong to, I've seen a lot of people commenting that they do not have access to the meeting because I think the 100-person limit has been met, and so a lot of people can't even join. And so, in order for us to have a smooth election, I would suggest we have a nomination form. We'll definitely rely on the the NATE's database. So if they can share the email address with the 3-man committee, and so we send the same nomination form to this email and put a caveat of probably within the next 3 days. If we do not hear from you, then the nomination process stops. And whoever is nominating also will put in the organization's name so that we also know where you belong to and why you're nominating this person. And so we should remember this is NAITI. This is more of extractive. And so we need somebody that has that capacity for us to represent the CSOs on this board, right? And so that is what I would suggest for us to do. Then set another time for the election. We can use a simple tool as a Google form. A Google form can make this happen. If you want to do SurveyMonkey, which can be more technical, but a Google form would help us do all these things smoothly, and then we have a smooth election based on the number. The 3-man committee counts, and we can see the results at the end of the day. So that's my take. Thanks.
Thank you. Celestine. Celestine.
Yeah, Faith, thank you very much. I think, and let me not just waste time again because the last 2 speakers have already emphasized. So for me, I think this meeting should be discussing the process that will be utilized for this election, because there's complaint of the last one not being robustly or not being accepted, the process illegal and all that. So why don't we use this opportunity to correct that, using today as a day to agree on the process, set up a committee, 2-3-man committee or thereabout to prepare for this. Then we'll call for the election. Election possibly can be both virtual and physical, depending on the resources. Thank you.
Thank you. Kola. Please, if you have spoken, put down your hand, please. Kola, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I will take us back a little so that I can propose a way forward. The reason why I'm saying this is that we had an agenda that we tactically avoided, but it will come to haunt us. Okay. Somebody talked about members, a 15-member steering committee already in place. If this new person comes on board, does that committee remain, or does the steering committee have to be reconstituted? Because one of the activities for was done that there was a reconstitution of the Civil Society Steering Committee, which is in place. With its resignation, does it remain in place, or does it stand dissolved by virtue of the fact that the process that brought him up was flawed? If it is, then what that person said has been taken care of. Because if there's no steering committee, then the fear of overcrowding and lopsided representation is taken care of. But if it is, then we need to be careful in terms of the process about how somebody emerges, so that how somebody emerges already has a member of this organization already in the steering committee. So I'm not taking us, but I'm letting us know that as we go forward, we should remember that there may be lines based on what has been done, which we did not decide whether we adopted and agreed with or not, but which we say we cannot push them away, and which may create a crisis and a challenge for somebody come out, because we did not either discard it, accept it. If we accept it, then the person knows I'm going to work with what's been done. If we do not, then the person knows that that's important for guidance, so that anybody going into the process also begin to anticipate what to expect. Having said that, I think I agree with all that has been said. Let us agree on a process and put timelines to it. Instead of 3 man, I prefer a 5 or a 7. And I will suggest that somebody who is savvy with IT and is able to help facilitate these tools for voting is part of that committee, because then they are an independent umpire and that person provides that leverage for this to be done and collated properly. So instead of 3, I suggest it should be more than 3, because sometimes there are many reasons you can't form a quorum. If only 2 come or 1 come, there's a challenge. So if we have 5, then we say that if they are up to 3, they can proceed. And then we agree on the timeline for nomination. If you are nominating, there should be criteria. You must have the CV or nominating. These are ways, so that when the people are viewing and the people are putting people up for voting, people know that we already have people who have capacity and can get this done. Like somebody said, some people who have never identified with this process or even know what we're talking about, has this channels exposed to them and they have joined. I expect that such people will be honest and not just be part of the process, because they may not know anything. But you know the way this sector works. Everybody thinks there's a position you can vie for, and all of the things begin, and we begin to run into a logjam. If I had my way, we should be having a physical meeting for the election. And people should wait to that event and not without funds.
Thank you, sir.
You are committed to this sector. It's time to put your money where your mouth is. If they fix a meeting, properly announced, pay your way to the place, do all your politicking, all your lobbying, get everybody. We go there, and this group is a very physical, free, transparent process, open, that everybody will see, and the result can never be in doubt. But once you put it as hybrid and virtual, somebody will still claim exclusion, and I tell you, you can never tell how many people will claim it. And they will keep giving the problem to this new person and the sector for the next 3 years that is left of Peter's tenure. That is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Kola. Thank you very much. Kola has spoken from a background of experience, having been there before. Nolly. So please, I'm going to give 30 seconds, but I don't want anybody to accuse me of not identifying them. Nolly, please. If somebody has said...
Thank you very much. I think you're doing a good job. Let me just quickly make my contribution. I agree with what most people have said, but in particular, what Kola said, 3-person committee will not work. We should have a 5-person electoral committee. Give them the work and let them go and figure out what the process should be and come back to the House. We approve it and then we can run the process. But we're wasting too much time here discussing the matter. We're not making progress. Let's nominate 5 people to be electoral committee members and let them go and figure out the process and come back and tell us, and then we approve it and we make it one.
Thank you very much. Yetunde, are you there? Akonji Fatai.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. What I wanted to say has been said, so
there's
really nothing I want to. Thank you.
Akonji Fatai. Effiam Duke.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Let me quickly apologize for joining late. It has been tough here, having a network to join. Yeah, so much has been said and a lot of things have been done. And the process is what we are looking at now. So a lot of things has been carried out. Like I have said, let us not take too much time again, because we are discussing back and front again. Let's just move forward from what people have suggested. And then now at this point, let's call for a motion so that it will be concrete and statutory that this is what the House agreed. And most importantly, again, we have to, why I support this is because it has to be spread and a lot of interest needs to be taken into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Mina?
Oh, hi. That was before. I was trying to say by implication, it means we didn't have any nomination template prior to this time, any documentation that shows the electoral process. So this is like putting in place one as part of the contribution of this.
As part of the process. Okay, yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Jide, the last comment on this. Jide Afolabi. Okay, thank you very much for all of your contributions. Can we now have somebody raise a motion? Somebody had suggested we have 3-person committee. Another says 5 or 7-person committee. How many? Do we go ahead and put a committee in place?
I think 5 is okay.
5 is okay. Support.
So let's put, what about timelines? We need to give timelines.
So let the committee do it. Let the committee meet and bring this timeline.
So what is the TOR? TOR for the committee?
Okay. First of all, let us either nominate people or allow people to self-nominate to serve on this committee, please. We can do that here.
So we agree on 5 persons.
So people should either self-nominate, let others nominate whoever they think can serve on this committee. Let's get the 5, and then we'll give them their terms of reference.
Okay.
Are they eligible to contest?
No, they're not eligible. If you are a member of the committee, you're not eligible. How can you be an term and be contesting an election?
They can't contest now.
The 5 persons are not eligible to contest, please. So
that's right. Faith, I didn't hear you well. Faith,
sorry, Fidelis, I have my hands up, please. I don't know if.
Yes. Hello.
We are now at the point of nomination.
Nomination. Yes, I want to nominate someone. Can I go ahead?
Who is on the line? Jide, please go ahead.
Yeah, on the line. Thank you very much. I want to nominate Mr. Tolu Agunloye of Open Alliance Project.
Tolu, are you accepting the nomination or you are declining?
Yes, I accept. Thank you.
Nomination, please. Nomination, please.
Hold on, please. Jide has nominated.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I want to nominate Dr. Ahmad Hashim from Zamfara State. Being him from the Northwest Zone and being him with experience on the community development issue, I want him to be part of the committee. Ahmad Hashim, Dr. Ahmad Hashim.
Hello?
Dr. Ahmad Hashim, are you here?
Yes, I'm around.
Are you taking that nomination?
Yeah, it's accepted.
Okay, that's the second nomination. The third nomination.
I want to nominate Dr. Joseph Jimba.
Hold on, please.
Hello?
Please hold on.
I'm holding on.
Let's do this. Akonji Fatai. Monday Sasa.
Okay, thank you very much. First, I want to second the nomination of Tolu Agoloye and also to nominate Amen Okun of Kebetachi.
Is on this? Is here now?
My hand is up.
Are you taking that nomination? I don't think is on this call.
Madam Faith, my hand is up.
Can I make my nomination, please?
Is that
do you want me to replace him with somebody else?
No, you have nominated, he's not here.
Can I nominate?
Don't worry. Somebody else, somebody may nominate the person you have in mind. Fidelis, please go ahead.
Yeah, please, I want to nominate Mrs. Mary Ajayi.
Can I make a quick observation?
Yeah, Mary Ajayi. I think on the electoral board, we should have a women representative as well, and someone who is vast and experienced in the extractive industry as well.
Okay, is Mary Ajayi on the call?
Yes, yeah. But I'm a member of the CSO steering committee. I don't know if I can be a member.
No, she can. I don't think it's right for her to be a member.
She cannot be a member.
Hello, please, can I talk?
Hold on, please.
Can I nominate?
Felicia Agbubata.
Please, and before Felicia, before Felicia. I raised my hand.
Hold on, I'm taking this. I've given you a lot of opportunity. I'm looking at people who have not spoken on this meeting before now.
You didn't tell me. You didn't say that at the beginning. That's the process. I want to nominate.
Let's respect the
Felicia, please
now.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to nominate Engineer Dr. Yetunde Aleda Ito. He's an experienced engineer with over 20 years of experience. Thank you. Aleda Ito.
Yetunde, are you on the call?
Yes, she is.
Yes, ma'am, I'm on the call.
Are you accepting the nomination?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Madam,
so we have 3 nominations. Please, can you put down your hand, please?
My hand is up.
Hello. Can I nominate?
My hand is up. Yeah, please get on the experiences I had from this interview about Dr. Ahmad Hashim. I have seconded that.
Who is Daddy Sin? Daddy Sin.
Okay.
My name is Dandison. Harry Dandison. I want to nominate Mr. Kingsley Ozegbe.
Kingsley Ozegbe, are you on the call? Yes. Are you accepting the nomination?
No, I'm declining.
Okay, what's your reason for declining, please?
I'm going to contest.
You're contesting. Oh, that's a good one, though. Thank you very much.
Can I nominate?
Please, hold on, please. I'm looking for people who have not spoken at all at this meeting.
I have not spoken and I have raised my hand since Madam Faith.
Aisha Abdullahi, please. Aisha Abdullahi.
Hello?
Who is Aisha? Gaffa Akin.
Okay, now
Gaffa Akin.
Member the electoral body, the selection committee.
Hello, sorry, I was having network issues.
Aisha Abdullahi, okay, go ahead and nominate.
Yes, ma, I just want to bring to our notice that as we nominate, we should also remember to nominate women. Please, gender, thank you, ma.
We already have one woman already. Go ahead, nominate. If you want to nominate a woman, nominate.
I don't know most of the women there, but please accept the last nomination, it should be a woman.
Yeah, we have 2 men and 1 woman already. So we have 2 spaces.
Yes.
Madam Faith, my hand is up.
Okay. Mohammed Sani. Mohammed Sani.
Mohammed Sani is not here.
Okay, I saw
I'm
his
here,
hand.
please. I'm here. Oh, please, I'm here. Yeah, just too fast to say that. I want to nominate. Mohammed Sani is here, ma'am.
Okay, I nominate Faith Nwadishi.
No, why you can't nominate me? Why are you nominating me now?
Because you were past chairman.
I am here, ma'am.
You were past chairman with a lot of experience.
Sister Fed, let me nominate a lady.
So
let me nominate a lady.
For her to bring, a lot of experience into the committee. I nominate Faith Nwadishi.
I second this nomination.
I also second this nomination.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, I accept. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Sister Fred, let me nominate another person.
Hello, ma'am.
Madam Faith.
So we have, let me give you the people. We have 2 male and 2 female. So we have the last nomination.
I am nominating Favor Simeon. I am nominating Favor Simeon.
I am nominating Dr. Joseph Jimba from the Northeast.
I'm nominating.
Who is Laurencia Ngari?
I'm nominating Jide Afolabi.
I'm nominating Favor Simeon from PPDC.
Who is nominating?
I'm nominating Favor Simeon from PPDC.
I'm going to mute everybody so that
you must participate.
We can have some.
Okay.
Hello.
I am nominating Favor Simeon from PPDC.
Laurencia on the line.
Madam Faith, I said I am nominating Dr.
I think we have some quiet now.
Hello?
This is about service. This is about service. We all have the opportunity to nominate people. Number 1 here is Tolu. Number 2 is Dr. Ahmed. Number 3 is Yetunde. Number 4 is myself. And number 5, we need 1 person. Remember, we talked about somebody who is internet savvy that can help us set up all of the forms that we need to use for this. Is there anybody on this platform that has not been nominated and wants to volunteer himself or herself to be part of this committee? Can we give that opportunity for somebody to volunteer to be part of this committee, please? Please, we have so
yes,
many.
I can volunteer myself, Kabiru Garba. I can volunteer myself to help you on
Madam
that.
Faith, Madam Faith,
I want to volunteer myself
nominate
on that.
Dr. Joseph Jimba from the steering committee of Publish What We Pay Nigeria. He's internet savvy and he can serve as that.
Somebody has just volunteered himself. Do we leave
Kabiru Garba.
Somebody is nominating and somebody
Yes.
is volunteering himself. Are we nominating or volunteering?
I volunteer myself to be on that, or to do that for you.
Abdullah has volunteered himself.
Who volunteered himself?
Kabiru Garba. Kabiru Garba. Kabiru Garba.
Please,
Kabiru Garba.
Which is
Yes.
organization?
Community Chief Executive Officer, Community Enlightenment and Development Initiative.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Hello,
please,
Madam Faith,
let me read out
for
the
your
names.
information.
Yes, please.
Somebody has declined, though.
Who declined?
Somebody has declined his nomination. Jide Afolabi.
Jide Afolabi.
No, Jide Afolabi was not nominated. He was not
I
nominated.
thought I heard his name before.
The person was just shouting.
No.
The people
No, he
were
wasn't
shouting.
nominated.
He was not nominated.
Laurentia nominated me and I'm declining. Thank you.
Okay, Jide, thank you very much. We have 5 nominees already. Now, nominating these people, we need to give them a term of reference and timeline to be able to work. Please, can we all put down our hands? If you are suggesting terms of reference and timeline, then we can take it so that we can round up this meeting. Please put down your hands, please. Please put down your hands.
So the admin cannot automatically put everybody's hand. Maybe we should add that one to the feed next.
We can put. You have to put down your hand because you voluntarily put up your hand, so you have to put it down by yourself. Thank you so much. So we have a 5. Prof, your hand. Okay, thank you very much. We have a 5-person committee already nominated here.
Sorry, I just want to put the terms of reference.
So we are going on now to begin to outline terms of reference for the committee and timeline. Timeline for work. POR, please. Prof, go ahead.
Yes, the terms of reference. 1, to organize the elections, selections of the person that will represent the civil society on the board of 91. 2, to organize a meeting where the civil society will now conduct the election proper. I suggest physical meeting that, like what Kola suggests, that all the civil society want to participate should sponsor themselves to come to the meeting and do the election and in terms of 2 weeks before the election.
Can I also give information that looking at the timeline, we should consider the validation timeline too.
Yes.
Looking at so, Nkoli, you're on the floor now.
Yes. I said the timeline of the validation should be looked at. So if it can be done as quick as possible.
Okay, Prof. Thank you. Nkoli is on now.
Faith, my name is Nnoli.
Nnoli, sorry. Nnoli. Yes, I got that right.
I'll suggest the following.
Yes,
that this
please.
election committee meets as soon as possible, possibly within the next 48 hours, to agree on their roles and responsibilities. Because you have to nominate a chairman, secretary, alternate chairman, and assistant secretary as a minimum. Then you have to sit down and agree on what the electoral process will be. Document it and send it to I don't know who is the approving body, or send it to the House of Comments, and then we get an approval somehow. So that we know that this is the process we are working.
Yes.
In that process, I would suggest that we agree whether it's going to be a physical or electronic online voting. Let's try and avoid the hybrid. So do one or other. Either you do online or you just do physical. But let the committees suggest after they've met. I would suggest that because we have a vacancy, a void, that the committee is given the mandate to complete this work and get us to election, having done all the verification, validation of who can vote and who cannot vote, and getting the process to work and completing the whole process within the next 14 days. That's my suggestion.
Those 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any other? I don't see any other hand on top. So the committee, the TOR as follows. We need somebody to move a motion for the adoption of this TOR and somebody second. Number one, organize the selection of CS on the board of NATI. Organize a meeting as soon as possible. Agree on what the electoral process should be. Agree on either physical or electronic voting to be done within 2 weeks. Is that it?
I think there's need to screen the nominees, at least to be, abreast of their experience within the 90 threshold.
Mr. Chris, I think before then, there should be a call for application for those that are interested in the position.
Yes.
They should apply formally. Because we are not just going to handpick. They should apply.
But
I have
we talked about
to
nomination now.
Faith, the electoral process will spell out all these terms. The electoral process.
Okay. Wasilat.
Vincent.
Wasilat. Dr. Mina?
I've been actually, thank you so much, wait, just 2 minutes. I've been actually concerned about this, the validation time. Is it possible that anybody knows the exact period so that by the time we talk about these 2 weeks, this week, let you not go deep into that timing? Does anybody have any idea about the specifics? If not, no problem. I think that is number one.
Secretariat, can you give us that information?
Madam Pate, my hand is up, please.
Please hold on. It's one after the other. We've already eaten so much. This is already 5:20. We have spent 2 hours, 20 minutes. We should be rounding up this meeting in the next 20 minutes, please.
Okay, I want to contribute for the TOR.
Hold on, there's a question that was asked. We need the secretariat to help us answer that. Madam Obi.
Yes, I can hear you.
Will 2 weeks given to the committee, will it be at advantage to us or disadvantage?
Well, not in that term, but it would be good if we can bring it closer. It's a very simple process, maybe 5 days, both for the entire process to be concluded in terms of the criteria, the committee working, and then a meeting to finalize this process. Once you give too long a timeline, people tend to slack. You don't get a response. But if you make it in such a way that 3 days, send us your wherever, committee finishes its work, sends out, and you give people short time, it's always in their faces and they respond quicker than when you give very long timelines and you keep giving reminders that people never respond to. But I still leave it up to the civil society to take a decision.
Okay, so
but I'm saying 1 week. 1 week will be fine.
1 week will be fine. 2 weeks will it be to finish
2 weeks
everything?
is too long. Yes, 2 weeks will be too long.
Obi has not answered our question. you has not answered the question. The validation time, 2 weeks. This thing.
You know how validation works is this. You need to be able to have that information on hand before the validation. So if we are taking 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, by the time they need the response to that and we are not ready, it means that it will impact negatively on our validation.
On Nigeria's validation. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. No,
1 week is fine because we still need to get back to the SGF to finalize this process.
To finalize the process. So we use 1 week to get these processes done, especially if we're going to use the Google Forms, which will be easier to use.
Yes, Google is good.
Most of the international nominations that go on, people, by the time we finish this meeting, we can now send out information and say, send in application. We collect all of the application, send it out, and then people will nominate. You nominate who, maybe the last 2 or 3, we can decide to vote on for them, and then go ahead. On the aspect of having a face-to-face meeting, budget for that meeting, I don't know if NATI is going to fund that meeting. Are people willing to pay their transport to that meeting, as was suggested earlier? Those kind of logistics we need to also be able to fine-tune at the end of the day. Hello. Wosilat, are you on now with us? Okay. Please go ahead, Mohammed Baba. Mohammed Baba. Barrister Chima. Barrister Chima, please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. I think by way of guidance, we are talking of timeline, and I'm not sure that Madam Obi had given us a clear answer as to, the validation timeline, so that we don't set targets that at the end of the exercise, we will still not be able to use it to effectuate the validation process, which is why I've agreed to be part of this in the first place. Okay, so that is 1. 2, the committee have not given us whether their suggestion is aligning with virtual process all through, or there should be a physical meeting. And I think one of the reasons why we do some of the things we do in this country is because people are not committed to processes. And one way to show commitment is find your way to be part of this exercise physically, so that tomorrow nobody will come back to claim that my internet did not allow me to participate or otherwise. And in that situation, the way it's always been done is that there will be some groups or some organizations that we know that may not have capacity to fund themselves, totally. Those ones can indicate to NATI. I don't want NATI to sponsor this meeting, honestly. I don't want NATI to sponsor it, because he who pays the piper dictates the tune, okay? If we are going to take it as civil society project to get things done right, every of our organizations have funding to do one thing or the other. So we can find a way to be part of this process so that we can be independent and truly independent. By the time we finish, the outcome will be our own. Whoever we elect to represent us will be answerable to us. So I think these are things that we should take into consideration while making our decision as a committee, so that we don't have a process that will come back to come and start reviewing and start clamoring that this happened and that did not happen. And I want to use this opportunity too to tell us that, look, the number of persons that are on this meeting are not the number of persons that have been on the native civil society stakeholders platform working on the extractive sector.
Thank you, sir.
It is a bloated number. Okay, so NAETI has the records, and that record should be provided to the committee to use it for the invitation. This is not a general invitation to everybody to attend. So let's streamline things so that we do not exclude the real participants and actors and then take decisions from those that may just be joining the process because of this meeting. So
Thank you,
I
sir.
thought that this should be brought up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barrister Chima. Celestine. Okay.
No, thank you. Go on. Go on.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Faith. And I wanted to make it for our consideration. It's a full meeting, whether or not we have people who should be here or are not here. But it's a full meeting. I think that it's a chance to make the point about some pertinent questions as a way forward. This might be ultra-biased, but my contribution or suggestion would be that can this meeting also maybe empanel another set of representatives to probably look into the future, into the bigger issues of maybe how did we get here? How did we avoid getting here in the future? And what kind of processes that we can agree as a third sector going forward to have the kind of representation which you have on the board and the CS committee of NAETI. I'm saying this because, I mean, we may not have the opportunity to be this robust in our gathering and contribution again. So this is just a thought for us. Maybe we want to put that into consideration, maybe expand the terms of reference of this committee, or maybe have another committee to look into the future, to make us avoid a chance of getting into this kind of situation next time. Thank you, Faith.
Okay, noted. Tolulope.
Okay, thank you, Faith. So I just want to speak to the nomination process, and I feel that that is okay, but somehow I just have another suggestion, which is aligning myself to what Mr. Monday suggested about call for application. So if you decide to nominate somebody, for example, just like the way we've been doing for the committee members, and we saw situations whereby lots of people were declining the nomination. And so when we throw it open for people to nominate, maybe the person you are nominating is not even aware that you're nominating. You might not be interested in taking up the CSO to be a member of the NAETI board. And so if we need to streamline the whole process, I think a call for application would be a better way. At least nobody's applying on your behalf. You are the one coming out to show interest in joining the NAETI board. And so if we have maybe 50 persons applying, then it's easier for the committee also to now validate the candidates, right? Before now calling a meeting for the election proper. And so that would be my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Nolly.
I'd like to suggest that we allow the committee to work, because we are now doing committee work inside this meeting.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Said.
Yeah, so quickly, please, committee. Yeah, quickly, committee. We are sorry we're entering your work, but from experience, it's good to share too. That helps. We had situations like this, Tolu, you know, where we asked people to contest and everybody feels he can, and we ended up not getting the representation, not attending the meeting, getting the result, because a lot of people would like to join just for power. However, there are people we know if we put them, we know they can do this, so we can nominate them. But still committee is your own. I just want to bring the opposite section. We can allow people to come and vote, and everybody will come. We'll start seeing Obi and Atiku contesting for election, everybody canvassing for votes, and at the end, we have a poor representation again.
Thank you. Thank you, Tafida. Thank you. Barrister Chima, please, just half of a second.
Thank you very much, Madam Faith. Mine is just for the process of the nomination. Because of the experience, we remember that it is this nominate yourself that brought us to where we are, where Peter nominated himself. Okay, so what I will suggest is that we marry the self-nomination with support, like seconding your nomination by 10 members of, the identified native civil society participants that are captured in the native database. So that if the 10 seconders, you do not get it, then it means that you are disqualified. Just giving the committee is for you to adopt, modify it the way you
Thank you, Barrister. But you also know that some people can get those 10 nominees and they don't have the capacity to deliver. We all know that.
Exactly.
So it's a good suggestion to the committee. The committee will take on all the suggestions and then get back to the House to be able to kickstart this. But we need to, as soon as possible, send out the letters for nomination or for application. So maybe at this point, I should just give us a little bit of background on history. When I think that was in 2012 or so, or 2011, 12, a committee was set up to look at the nomination for civil society representative on the native board. And these processes were put in place. At the end of the day, 3 names were shortlisted and sent to the presidency for appointment. And one of those names was eventually taken after that due process of application, shortlisting, interviews, and all of that. Some of these things we'll put together as a committee and get back to us so that as soon as possible, we get somebody to be on that board. But we shouldn't also sweep under the carpet the issue of validation. Because if Nigeria submits its report to the EITI and we have not been able to take care of this, extend our validation period. And we know that this process does not end with us. We need to send it to the SGF and also get the president to sign off on that. So if we are able to do this in 1 week and use the following 1 week to get the president to sign off on that, we would have been able to capture the 2 weeks to do that. I don't know if anybody that has been nominated on this committee feels that we will not be able to deliver on this assignment in the 1 week that is given for this assignment. Hello? Hello?
It is doable. Yeah, it is
doable, right?
Yes,
Okay.
doable.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So at this juncture, we have kickstarted the process of nomination. We have kickstarted the process of nominating a new representative on the native board to represent civil society. A fundamental question that was raised by Kola, the fact that we are going to nominate a new person on the civil society to represent civil society on the native board does not mean that the Civil Society Steering Committee will stop operating. The Civil Society Steering Committee will still operate because most of the networks that we have are represented on the Civil Society Steering Committee. The Civil Society Steering Committee is a committee of the NSWG and works on behalf of civil society. So maybe that's the next line of conversation that we have later after we have concluded this process, so that nobody is thinking about, oh, we are going to remove the Civil Society Steering Committee. It's a committee that has been mandated to do the work on behalf of the larger civil society. And because you don't have the civil society representative on the native board right now, that membership of that Civil Society Steering Committee 14 until we're able to replace Peter on the civil society on the native board. So the time now is 7:36. The agenda, somebody suggested we should have next steps before AOB. So what are our next steps going forward from here? Just bullet points. Chima, your hand is still up.
Can I speak, Celestine?
I'm coming, please. I'm lowering the hand. Mohammed Sani.
Yes, I'm here. Please, I want to. Yes,
next
I'm here. I want
steps.
to ask. When last? Okay. Next
Next
steps.
steps.
We
Yes.
expect the committee to give us. Yes, we expect the committee to publish the robust guideline for us to start.
Okay. Kabiru Gaba.
Well, my next step is for the committee to start the process from today, so that they can be able to meet the deadline, which is 1 week. And I think by that, definitely everything can be resolved before even the 1 week time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Tolu Tokpe.
Also, the committee should fix a date maybe either tomorrow or next for them to meet.
Okay, so the committee will do that as soon as possible. We'll just set up perhaps the next thing is to set up maybe a WhatsApp group for us to communicate, and then think about when possible it is for us to meet to look at what we need to present to the civil society committee. Okay, Tija, are you there? Celestine?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, TJ.
Okay, yes. So another thing that has come out from this meeting, given the very large attendance from this meeting, it shows the
Hello, TJ, I can't hear you.
We can't hear him.
TJ, we can't hear you. Please come back. Celestine, go ahead.
Okay, so I think the committee was passed, and for the committee, I think the idea is not. Is he still talking?
Process in the country, and
go ahead. Go ahead, Celestine.
Okay, so I think their work starts, and it's not restricted to them. They can always consult others for idea on how best to go about this. And
exactly.
what should stand at the center of this is the inclusivity. Yeah, the inclusivity, very important. And that will give legitimacy to whoever emerged as the representative. And inclusivity here means also, there have been argument there whether 90 will hold, whether it should be physical and all that. I think the thinking should be how best to do it, and how technology can also leverage on the process to ensure inclusivity. The second one is on what you have not finished. The second one is what you mentioned about steering committee. So you responded to what Kola asked in terms of the steering committee stay. So maybe you just highlight to us again on what's the tenure of the steering committee and how long, if this one is moving. So I didn't quite get that.
So let me, I have, because I have the information and I've been there, I can give you the answer to that. The tenure of the steering committee is equivalent to the tenure of the board, because it's a committee of the board. Now, whoever we are appointing or electing now to sit on the board is going to complete the tenure of this board. As the tenure of this board expires, the tenure of that person expires. That's because it's according to the Act. That's according to the Act, until there is an amendment to the Native Act. TJ, are you back? TJ. Ahmed Hashim.
Good evening, all. I have asked a very question on the chat box, but it has not been responded to. The question is, who are we, the committee is reporting to? Do we report directly to the SGF or report to NET? That is one question. And then the second question is, what about the grievance management? Somebody will be aggrieved about the election or nomination process, and what happened to the person? Where can the person run to? Because it's something that people should be allowed to, challenge injustice where they see injustice happening. So that is why I asked these two questions, and I couldn't get answers.
Okay, the first one is that as soon as we finish, we send a report to the SGF and a copy to the on who we have appointed or who we have elected to represent us, because it is still the president that nominates. That appoints the person, but they has to come from a letter from the SGF. So the SGF issues the notice through NATI. If you look at that policy, so we also take that through that process to do that. But first and foremost, we must report back to the civil society community to say, this is the process we have gone, this is what we have done, this is the report we are submitting. And once civil society signs off on that report, we submit it to the SGF and to NACI.
Then when will that meeting be? When will this committee report to the
They have asked
CSO?
us, they've given us 1 week to do this. So let the committee go and do its work and report back.
We'll put the next meeting. The next day we'll now put the next meeting of the CSO.
Can we finish our committee report first, and so that we can now do that to go? The committee has been mandated to come up with the process of the meeting. Tija.
Yes. So yes. Okay. Can you hear me now? So yes, my concern is, we now have a large, a broad base of civil society that are interested in this process, which is a good thing. How can we leverage this interest, to ensure that we consistently have civil society participating in the NATI process? One way I think we can do that is to capture the database of those who have participated here, and then set up a committee that is not just focused on the election, but looks beyond the election to ensure that we have, going forward, broad civil society participation. And it is that committee that should be saddled with the responsibility of communicating the outcomes of this process to the SGF's office. Because if we say the electoral, the selection committee should do that, going after that, what happens next? So I think we should have a committee that actually goes to institutionalize what we are doing here now. One way to look at it is maybe we could fall back on the civil society steering committee, or we could put in place a 3-person committee that drives this participation process forward.
CJ, wonderful idea. Wonderful idea. But can we take it one step at a time? Let us do this assignment because it is urgent that we need to do this and have our structures put in place. And then we can start that conversation. The Civil Society Steering Committee would have to drive that process. The Civil Society Steering Committee needs to drive that process. And that's why the Civil Society Steering Committee is a larger committee that has taken into consideration the different groups, youth groups, women groups, and other extractive groups that are there. So please, let us finish this one we are doing. That thought, I would really love if you can put it down and let us take it up as something that should be part of the recommendation, having concluded this process. TJ, are you there?
Thank you.
Yes, that's okay.
My second question, Madam Faith, you didn't answer my second question, please.
Which is your second question? Grievance mechanism, also let us put it. Grievance mechanism is something we need to put together. I'm sure at the EIT International Secretariat and even for civil society, we have a grievance mechanism that is put. We need to sit down and have that conversation. It's all part of having the structure that we have. For instance, there should be a rapid response committee. That's what we call it at the international level. There's a rapid response committee so that if there's anything about, injustice, you take it to the Rapid Response Committee. The Rapid Response Committee takes it up and engages the government agency or the companies or whoever is that has offended that person. It's not what we can discuss now at this meeting, but I'm trying to make sure that we finish this meeting in the next 15 minutes. We have done wonderfully well in the last 3 hours. We have reached very concrete agreements moving forward. One other thing we need to also recognize, a lot of people have said it earlier, because of the way the notice of this meeting went out, there are a lot of people who don't even understand the EITI process and the native process who jumped on it and are here. It's now also important to see how we can broaden this base and get people, not just because there's going to be an election or because there's going to be a position to be held. People will now engage the process for that moment and then go away without continuing that engagement. So perhaps the database that NATI has of civil society can share with the committee so that information can go out to the all civil society. At this point, I would like to bring in the Director of Communications of NATI, Madam Obi, to give us I don't know what to say now. My head is full.
Is it the you're still looking at the timeline, or have we passed it?
No, we are done with the timeline. The committee is going to work within 1 week. We're looking at 2 weeks. Fantastic. The question I want to ask the Secretariat now.
Yes, yeah.
Does the Secretariat have the capacity to deliver that in 2 weeks we have a civil society representative appointed by the President?
That's not it's not within our sphere of influence. But once the civil society finishes its own process and forwards to the SGF, copies NATI, the chairman will take it up with the presidency to ensure that it's given due attention. That I can guarantee you. I can assure you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, do you have any other remarks you want to make at this point so that we can close the meeting? I want to thank you.
I don't know how to. I don't even know what to say about
you should give both of thanks. She will thank us.
Okay.
How can I give both of thanks in a meeting that I didn't attend? I'm here as an observer. Anyway, thank you.
You called us, we answered.
Yes, I know. But honestly, let me just say a very big thank you for the support and the encouragement that I saw from everybody on this platform, this afternoon. I saw commitment, I saw patriotism, very, very important. I saw resilience, I saw tenacity. I saw a group of people who want this country to succeed, who have the interest of this nation at heart. And I know that our labor will not be in vain. We will see to the end of this process. 2 weeks is our target. We will try, all of us, including you, we will try to deliver on this task and see Nigeria, sustain and maintain her status at the global EITI level. To Madam Faith, I'm so sorry that they trust this responsibility for you, but you've lived up to that responsibility. Thank you so much for a wonderful job that you've done. I'm mentioning specifically those who have been on our board before, Mr. Kolawole Banwo. I didn't see Reverend David Ogolo. I didn't see, and then Mr. Chima Williams. Thank you for logging in. And a lot of other people that I've not seen in a long while, Dr. Mina Obanga and the rest of them. What this just shows that people, once they get involved in the EITI process, remain interested in the process. And probably one of the things that's coming out from this is for us to find a way to come together, bring everybody together, once in a while to look at what we're doing and how we can better perform. This is just an eye-opener that once you say something should be done, people take up the responsibility. Thank you so very much for the support that we've received so far. Once the process is concluded, I give you all the assurance that NATI will not slack to make sure that government does its own path. that's not a problem to us. We know how to go about it. Mr. Dr. Mike Uzigo, I saw him on this platform. Thank you for staying put with us. I want to make a request. In terms of the terms of references that is being drawn up, if you check the nomination policy, I want us to look at that D, documentary evidence of this process must be submitted together with the name of the nominee. And that's to request that whatever we're doing, please let there be that effort at documenting what the process was, whether in terms of those who were nominated, how they were nominated, who they are, which platform or coalition they're representing. Every process must be documented so that we don't have this kind of lacuna, after this process. At the same time, for us at NATI, we're also documenting this process to ensure that this becomes the norm, in the nomination of a civil society rep to the NATI board. Thank you so very much for the support we've gotten so far, and I wish us a very, very warm and a restful evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, all nominated committee members, drop your details here so that it's easy for us to have a meeting. If you don't mind, we'll just spend the next 15 minutes. Please just stay on a few minutes. All the nominated committee members, stay on a few minutes while other people leave the chat. So we can just have a few minutes of conversation. If that's not asking too much, please. Thank you very much. Doctor.